Is it worth it? Always. You're building a foundation of granite instead of sand. The person who gets lifted to the top by helicopter stands on the peak, but he has no leg muscles. If the wind blows, if circumstances change, he falls. The person who climbed the mountain alone, who clawed his way up the rock face, bleeding and sweating and freezing, he has legs made of steel. The wind cannot move him. He has become the mountain itself. You want to be the climber, not the passenger. This is why you must embrace the difficulty instead of running from it.
You heard that right, fellas. That's the instead of listening to music while I'm building robots in Blender, I usually prefer to listening to some heartwarming philosophical quotes and advice. This will be perfectly fitting for the leg armor buildup. So if you remember from the previous short videos that I uploaded, I made a Ez8 inspired robot shaped in my own liking. So just like in a similar when third party toys making a super refinement revised version of the famous character in Transformers, me, I built a Gundam, but in virtual version, like a virtual Gunpla. So you can see the fast time lapse version of this guy. I'm kind of digging in making a armor suit up sequence since I'm using the gun cannon model nicknamed Psycho Cannon, and then I made some 3D model armor for the Santa Claus since 2025, and also another one based on the lunar blood moon eclipse in March. So I made this blood moon, that blood moon based a robot dragon themed robot, humanoid kind of like. So anyway, you can see the timelapse here how I make the boosters here, but there's no need to be a professional engineering in hydraulics and robotic parts. But as long as you have to make some movable joints to make it look convincing. If you remember about optic illusion art that seems popping out, let's say for example there's a tiger came out from the frame and you think that the tiger is popping out from the frame really, but actually it's an optical illusion. They put the light source and then throw some shadows here. So I kind of dig in for the ASMR background music. I give it a little preview here on how I pose that robot here, and you can see this is how it looks like after I build the Optimus armor and I revise the signature rifle of Optimus Prime, turning into a badass dual iron rifle that will put the Wing Gundam Zero to shame or probably jealous because it's slicker and darker. Darker is sexier, if you ask me. Not bad for this rifle design though. I have a lot to talk about for a while about the animation for the finisher part. Okay, I'm gonna explain about this additional armor, but this will be for the sort of part 2 after the Optimus Zero short video that I uploaded in Trazorwolf. So I take some studies here, so no intricate designs for now, just a basic shape. This will help me overcome the scenario where I stuck in the thinking mode, thinking the ideas here. So This will be for the additional armor, but that will be for the next video here. So I couldn't think what will be the name of this upgraded armor pack for the Optimus Zero. Armor within an armor within an armor. Wait a minute, just 2 layers of armor. Powerful laser here, and then the arms. Skibbity bop 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 bop. Yes, yes, yes. This will be the core part here, so you can imagine when this extra final 4 of the Ez8 inspired mecha. You can imagine when he's charging the shoulder cannon. You can imagine that the Matrix clone will spark in blue right through that core. I don't know if we gotta add some Amuro Rays style air vents, or probably this is a breast booster, so so that you can see a lot of anime mega genre using that breast booster to retreat it effectively. Oh, excuse me, I got some a little clog nose here. I really don't talk that much. I really always keep my mouth shut, and I'm experiencing some clog nose. And this is what it looks like, but this is only 50% complete. I need to refine the revision for the cannon since it kind of a little bit too thick, so I don't like. So I'm testing the lighting here to see what it looks like. Here is my custom robot. Made a concept for Optimus for Gundam Ez8, but in my own version. Not exactly Ez8, but kind of inspired. And give it a overpowered armor. Probably my crazy idea. Optimus Prime inspired armor suit. So you can imagine this will give additional durability and power. And it allows you to handle the recoil like the dual iron rifle. Something like that. Due to the massive size of the body, it's almost close to the resemblance of... who could it be? Double Zeta Gundam. And the smokestacks here, I turned them into Vulcan or machine gun, just like a typical in the SD Gundam series. You can imagine, based on your interpretation, magazine load railgun or a powerful cannon with explosive rounds. Not much technical for the joints here. Excuse me. Doesn't look realistic for the hydraulics, but I try to make them something like blocky or give an illusion to make it look like it's complicated but realistic hydraulics from far distant here. I'm no good in engineering, but I try to make some approximation or resemblance. This is far different from the AI Slop thing. Well, speaking of AI Slop here, I'm gonna discuss it later on. So this is how I made adjustments here. The total frames is around 1,900 frames, but I have to start in batches because if I try to start in from a very too much number of frames in one go to make it a one video, as you can see here what I did, I make them by batches, and you're gonna start obviously for Blender users. First batch 0 to 500 frames, and then the second part of the video will be start at 500 frames to 1000. So you can see here the keyframes here. I'm not gonna explain how it works. There's a lot of tutorials about animation using Rigify, so check them out. I just keep calling temporary pose here, and this is where I stopped the last time. Probably this is the scene where I make this robot part of the ending here, where he showed up after the battle. Probably somewhere in C, but probably I didn't save it. So I treated it as a temporary tool, a temporary file here. Here's the previous frame here. I'm gonna put it here in the display. This is for the cannon scene here. This is the close-up here for the starting of this frame on using the signature rifle of Optimus Prime, but I customized it to make it dual wielding with explosive burst. Okay. Blue sky in the background. This is for the missile scene. It's considered a pain in the ass. That's because I have to manage the lag here. And to be fun, and it's funny that I'm using a gaming laptop from Razer, only around 36 GB left, but there's some important important files here that I need to preserve, so I have to, something like in the Tagalog word, dumedepende sa kung anong available na storage dahil sobrang dami nila. Anyway, I'm trying to be resourceful both in the storage spaces and the techniques to make it more effective in animation. I don't want to talk much in the details, but as you can see here, this is the scene where I do perform the missiles. Rendering with thrusters is pretty slow, so I have to hide it, sort of. I group it to make it easier to navigate. Here's for the laser part, but I have to hide it, and I also disable the camera, probably for the preferences in certain scenes here. Mecha model. This is the Optimus inspired armor here. I think it's not here. It's somewhere on the armor of Optimus. I label it. This is where I store the missiles, and I use the polygon circles for the smoke. I'm not good in using the compositing nodes here, so I have to rely on the trusty YouTube with some sample tutorials here and use it whenever I need it here. So nothing much. So I give you some preview here. I try to play it slowly, but it will experience some lag because you can see how dense the frame is, but I'm not focusing on reducing the mesh quads, since I'm only focused on short video, so it's not a problem to make it look dense and animating straight for just an hour and a half while I'm watching my favorite YouTube videos like Nino Rai or just Trinity Cowboy Bang Bang and shit. Here's the frame here for the fire. This is the close-up here for the start. Anyway, I'm still busy doing from a company base. I'm communicating in Discord. I think I'm working currently on a Gable Digital Solutions for a certain animated project, but I'm not going to tell you here for respectful wishes. And that's because some of my friend, I'm doing some AI related sideline for projects like next gen Photoshop with AI assist. But I know you're gonna thinking using AI tools for making a image advertisement will result in a slop. Well, who cares about that? And I know about the problems about using AI if you put it on the wrong hands, especially by inexperience. But some of my friend lend me his account since using Higgsfield costs some subscription money. So he gave me some donor here in order to do some sidelines as a graphic artist using with the provided technology. But during free time here, since I'm really busy with my main company on doing some animation and rigging, I was positioned for the rigging of the characters. So making some enemy targets like this silly bobblehead looking robot in doing animation manually using Blender, it will take time. I I have no problem making group of enemies here in a choreographed manner, but it's kind of time consuming or probably conflict scheduled between my work time and hobby. So I have to use the AI technology here, like the Kling or Grok Imagine video feature, but now it's turned not free, subscription required here. So there are other alternative resources to generate free AI videos here. So during my busy time with work and during the conflict of time, this is the only thing I could for making a enemy choreograph like this one. I also edit out some slops here. You can notice that this giant robot's supposed to be bigger than the human. I asked the AI to make a 16 or 17-meter tall bobblehead robot, but it appears to be less than 5 meters. So I used the Google AI Studio. Probably I'm asked Gemini to solve this kind of issue, and some of the AI cannot understand some mathematical metrics like meters, centimeters, and the best thing they advise me based on my critical thinking. I'm not relying heavily too much on AI like Gemini to rely on answers. I'm using between my critical thinking and the Gemini to get the overall best answer. So he suggested me to make approximation close to, let's say, if you want to get a 60-meter tall robot in the video and output, you're gonna have to put like something like 5-story building, which AI could understand. And this is what it looks like here. Let's skip this part. That's the result I wanted, but it kind of looked like almost 30 meters. But who, ca- who cares about the sizes? But it looks good to me anyway. But I omitted this part here because I tried to generate another one with a better character design here. Like, in the I'm making a rescue scene here. That's my second attempt for making a shorter, less than 1 minute video because the Optimus inspired mecha is only 2 minutes, but still a pain in the ass in other viewers. But I understand that. But I'm trying my best to make it look exceptional in entertainment. This is what it looks like here. Here's how I compile all those sorts of videos I've made, both in rendered in Blender and some part from the Higgs field, using the list of available LLMs for making AI videos here, including the end, this one, a little slop because the legs are not included here. That's because the main reference here is the this this head only. Oops, this head only from the screenshot. And if you're wondering where I get that silly big-headed robot I created from Blender, just to show you. This is from the previous one when I'm using with the Ez8 inspired mecha called Viper Sniper. You can check it out on my Trazorwolf. This is one of the. Here's the similar head here, just like from this reference. The original reference I took is from the model. Where was I? This helmet, the legs, bot face. Oops, this is not the final one. I think it's from this one. Yes, this is based on the screenshot. So just to know, it's all square, quad, not triangle from the AI generated 3D model shit, but you can use that tool. But I forgot, I think it's Union something, but I'm gonna show it out on a later vlog here. That's about it. I took a lot of samples here for the fight choreograph. This will be very useful if you're making a group of enemies here and you don't need to make a couple of enemy robots from scratch using Blender manually, but it is better to have a best of both worlds. You're gonna have to learn the knowledge in using AI to make a magnificent video animation like this, and also learning basic animation from 3D like this one, and also have a knowledge in sculpting. It's easy. It's easy if you ask me making a robot by putting several mesh cubes here and deformed it, treated like Lego blocks. And if you're gonna make it for the video game, you're gonna have to render into one mesh. Well, it's kind of like mathematically by approximation. So excuse my kind of technicalities here, but I'll try my best to show and tell and understand. I'm trying my best to understand what I'm saying, but yeah, this one here, although I made something a little unique here, this original robot here doesn't have a cape, but it's nice though.
Never dies, bitch. Fart horny ass.
I omitted this part here. I omitted out this part because that yellow beam should be came from from the ion cannon, from my Optimus custom inspired beam from this dual wielding part. Hold on a second. No, not this one. Yeah, this one. But instead, this boss fires ion laser from its own finger. So look carefully. Oops. Spacebar only for YouTube, but not here. You can see the direction clearly, that the firing direction is not came from the Optimus Prime looking robot, and instead is from that red guy. So you can check it out here from the comparison from my main Trazorwolf here. Excuse me a second. This is from What About Crypto and checking for the charts. What the heck? Trazorwolf. This one here. Oops. I'm gonna have to mute it. Concerned about the copyright music. By the way, one good thing about using copyright music without issuing a copyright issue, using Remix, or when you're using a YouTube app, there is an option that we can able to search. There's a on YouTube menu when uploading videos. There is a option where you can choose the music uploaded in the YouTube. Choose your favorite music, search here, and then I choose this one. That's based from the opening theme of Shider, so there's no copyright issue here. Remixing does. But if you're gonna include your own music that is not being remixed or using that option featured in the upload options, you better need a permission. It's a wise thing to use the remix in order to allow you to use that music, or in the YouTube upload menu, there is a button on the top that says select music. Search the royalty-free music and also the copyrighted music. But most of the time, there's no issue using copyright music as long as there is an available option here in the remix. So yeah. Okay, there is. I think it's here. Cannons. Nope, not that part. Oh, I think it's here. Ah, there is. Fart horny ass. Okay, it's from the Ez8 signature cannon part scene here. This is where I omitted that part. That laser that laser or the tracer from the cannon supposed to be hit directly to the red guy, but instead that projectile is being used by that boss guy instead. So I make this plan carefully to deal with the slop here. But hey, AI slop is also a good art too if you're intentionally making a comedy videos. But you gotta have to make sure you have to need a balance between using AI technology plus your video editing skill in order to make a story of some certain motivational video. Probably YouTube algorithm will favor more on that content. Is my voice on? Check, check, check. Okay. I'm gonna make sure this silly system doesn't mute automatically. There's a hiccup at times. So and even if after I uploaded this video but my voice is completely muted without notice, fuck that. Excuse my language. So here are the behind the scenes here how I edit this video. So yeah. Oops, this is not here. This is from the enemy here. So HF, that stands for Higgs field. I have a lot of samples here. This one's good. This one's good.
Never dies, bitch.
This part here, I use it for the headshot scene here. Then I use this part here and automatically overlay to simulate that this target is being destroyed. The original one here is where you can see a massive pile of mechanical poop, which I don't want to put in the scene. That's why I omitted out and replace it with this. There's no arms here from the original reference, so I zoom it out a bit here to make it look correct in the perspective here. But if I decide to add the arms here, probably why not? Maybe I'm gonna make a debut for another variant of this in celluloid. I call this one because inspired from a Skibidi toilet gimmick here. Human head pops out from the toilet with some strange superpowers. Probably the roleplay as a good guy here. I don't know much about the story of the Skibidi toilet, but I saw it on the first impression when I saw some of the scene here fighting against the Men in Black like thing agent with some TV screen faces. Yeah, full of strange shit. But good one.
You made my dork. Fine, yeah.
This part here I omitted out and replaced it with explosion. I shouldn't talk a lot of that much here, but this is how I make some effective animation. But I only intend for the hobby here, but I wish I was gonna monetize it for the entertainment. But study makes my world go funny, kind of like. So this is the preview here on how I made this thing up here, and this is for the bonus here. I don't know, the rescue mission scene here, and this one here is originally for the debut of this model I created. This is for the 2-minute charge ray here. That's for the charging part here of the double ion cannon. Excuse me, ion rifle. And I changed the hue to yellow here. Took from the source of the YouTube. And I have to make sure that this is like it's general for general usage here. Something like that. Here are my compilations of approve here. Here's how I make a machine gun. I did. This was good enough, but I made a. But you'll notice there is a little slight crop here. That's something a little bit off. But I tried to make it look illusional. That something like recoil with some blurry motion here. But I'm trying my best here to make it look good. This was the first attempt here, but there is a Ultra Magnus face, and the gun is still slow. My final render here is I added with a muzzle flash green screen, and I remixed with some other downloaded sample sound effects, the similar to Gundam here. But I know there are some sound effects that also used in the Takara's anime genre, but that depends on the subjective. Taking risk here from using the sounds, but I know there's some music that uses a general. Anyway, I'm aware of that, so forgive in advance. And that's how I made this a pretty good Desdartically video here. Not exactly Optimus Prime, even though the AI or the probably saying this is a exact Optimus Prime model, but it's up to the viewers here if this is inspired and not exactly Optimus Prime. This is a different robot that looks or resembling like Optimus Prime here. I know a lot of fan arts here doing some inspired looking aesthetic, but this is not meant to transfer into a truck. This is like a imaginary concept of what happens when an Ez8 gives a huge power up like armor suit up. Ez8 needs a deserving final form here that will able to compete against the Wing Gundam Zero Custom or the Strike Freedom. Kind of like reminds me of God Jin Rai because of the booster legs here, although it doesn't use that additional trader here. But in the next personal project here, I'm planning to turn it into like something like the Guard X in appearance here by having additional armor in the setup here. 1 second. So I want to ensure that this is not exactly Optimus Prime at all. This is like a part 2 of the short video here. But since I'm busy doing some project for the animated show somewhere in YouTube or Netflix, I don't know. And I've been assigned here as a rigger. Hey, being a rigger is one of the important roles that deserve a big raise that contribute in the animation industry. So this is not yet final. I have cans here and additional armor here for the arms and that booster thing on the side. I don't know what this for. Is it has a purpose for this part or just aesthetic pleasing? Probably additional booster and armor. I'm trying using the panel app, the panel generator, but it's still kind of jagged. I'm kind of think about if I'm gonna have to remove the panels here. So I'm just brainstorming here. And this is the legs, but this is not an official extra armor upgrade to reveal its true final form. But who knows what will happen. Anyway, this is for my BTS WIP video here, so stick around for the next vlog. Maybe, or come again. So yeah. Good night, everybody. I feel like my words couldn't get something like I'm a little bit dilly-dallied here. And maybe because my brain is designed for imagination, thinking, not as a logical speaker, but